Hello, UCAR. Peter Christensen here, coming to you from the CEO's desk. You know, we had a forums committee recently, and we are talking about some water, like a water worksheet that is maybe going to come out soon from the forums committee. But it got me thinking about water and how complicated it is in Utah. It's not just as simple as every house has water that is attached to it, and you buy a house and you can turn on the faucet and water comes out. And I think I take for granted that our realtors all just know water issues, but perhaps it's good to do a little refresher. So when you're purchasing the property, it does say that in 1.4 that it will include all water rights shares, if any, that are the legal source of seller's current culinary water services and irrigation water service, if any, to the property, and that it'll be conveyed on its own. And so I think most agents have a pretty fundamental understanding of, like, okay, there's a difference between a water right and a share, and there's a difference between, the water in the house and sometimes the water outside the house. So, and that water rights can be sold separately, right? If that's new to you, then maybe you need to find some videos explaining some of that. But we do continually see issues with water-related problems or conflicts that come up. And so, 9 times out of 10, you sell a house in a city, and it's just attached to the city public utilities and has the water taken care of. And maybe that's mostly what you do. But if it's agricultural land that's being converted, or if it's a big parcel and it's not in an incorporated city, you do need to deal with water and make sure there is water access to the property. And I don't mean there's a pipe. I mean that you have the legal right to use water on that property. And so what I really want, maybe we'll do some videos on specific areas of law, but I want you to be aware of some issues that come up. And so irrigation, if there are ditches, if it's part of farmland or ag land that has had irrigation coming to it, as a seller, you got to know whether you're selling that with the property. As a buyer, you got to know whether you're getting that with the property, and both parties need to be asking questions ahead of time. If the property has had a well on it, and maybe that's how they were getting their culinary water, just remember that a well right, when you have a right to a well, when you have a well on the property, it doesn't mean you have the right to use it, right? And so wells get plugged up, wells go, the right is sold to somebody else. And so think of it this way. You buy the right to have a well. You don't buy the well. And so that's one issue that pops up, is just assuming, oh, that's the old pump house and well. Oh, we must have rights to a well. And it could have been sold 30 years ago. And you're piped into the city now because you were at one point on the outskirts, but you think you have well rights. You might have an old well on the property, but it doesn't mean you have the rights to use it. So there's a big difference there. And then the one I wanted to hit really quickly is if there's some sort of water channel through your property. Now, this could be 100 videos worth of material on water, how a body of water affects a property, especially one that flows from one property through another property to another. So there was legislation this year dealing with ditches and rights and who has the obligation to maintain and who can access the property to address that, and can you cover the canal or do you have to get permission? And so just know, if there is some sort of channel for water, even if it's seasonal, So it's an irrigation channel that only running for certain months of the year, or it's continuously flowing. Don't assume that buying that property, you can do whatever you want with that. You can even changing the path. You want to put your pool in, your pickleball court in. You may not be able to change the path of that channel of water, even if it still gets from point A to point B. You may have to get permission. And so just be aware when you see these things. Now, I'm not talking about the koi pond you made with the Viz Queen and your hose. I'm talking about a legitimate water channel. So when I bought my current house, there was the end of an irrigation ditch that fed, I think at one point fed the property. And so that could be an issue, right? If the canal company, the irrigation company, has some sort of easement or license to use my property, then I may not be able to just go fill it in with dirt because it looks like it hasn't been used in 15 years, 20 years, and put grass over it. May not be able to do that. So know that as you're approaching it, if there is existing water infrastructure on there, that could be an issue, and let your buyers know that we need to do more homework before you make your decision, because if your plans for the future of this property involve that water channel, that canal, you may have some complications for it. Not to mention, sometimes there's water under your property, and a company can come in and tell you what you can do on top of it. They can make you remove trees on top of it. So understand if your property is being used for transportation of water, that it complicates your use of that property significantly. I might need to dive into some of those specifics. I'm just getting you a taste of it to know, hey, there could be trouble here. Let's do some more homework. Let's hire an expert. Let's hire an engineer, somebody that can tell us more and let us know what we can and can't do. Maybe ask more questions of the seller. So I just want you to have an eye right now, purpose of this video. Have an eye for, okay, there's an easement for a pipe under your property. Okay, that could greatly affect your landscaping. So let's just be aware when you see water being transported across the property that it comes with a lot of stipulations usually. All right. Remember, this is not legal advice. This is legal information only. If you need specific legal advice, please contact your attorney, and thanks for tuning in.